So this is for the people that are like 14 years old, 15 years old, 16 years old that are thinking about joining the military. Because that's the age that they start actually recruiting you. And I tell you this because they don't really recruit you. What they kind of do is they're kind of like grooming you the same way a pedophile would groom somebody before they actually like take advantage of them. The military doesn't tell you what it is. What they tell you is what they want you to believe it is, what you see in the movies, what you read in the print advertising. Uh, the military actually, there isn't anything that you see on TV that they don't have a hand in. There isn't one video game that's created in America that the military hasn't had a hand in. The military controls a lot more of the way you think and the way you perceive and the way you view the world than the actual reality of how the world is. The military is not going to tell you whenever you join that you're going to go to foreign countries and kill people who had nothing to do with anything that they claim the reason we're there to have war. You know, if they tell you we need you because, we got to defend the country, United States of America, who are they defending the United States of America from? There isn't anybody coming here to kill us. There just isn't. And we really don't need to go to places in the world and start killing everybody else. When September 11th happened, 2001, I worked for FEMA at the time. I worked search and rescue. I worked for disaster preparedness at that time. So I was actually there when that happened. And I knew what was going to happen afterwards. I knew that was going to be a prime opportunity for the United States of America to declare never-ending wars. And everybody thought I was crazy at the time, but I wasn't crazy. We have been continuously at war since September 11, 2001. We are actually at war in 9 different countries right now. Everybody thinks we're still not in Afghanistan. We're still in Afghanistan. We are. Whenever we left Iraq, people act like we left. There isn't any place that we've pulled out of 100% that we have a military event happening in. We are at war currently right now under the auspice of terrorism in 9 countries. And that's typical of this country. If you look at the history of the United States, it used to be that we wouldn't go more than 10 years without going to war over something. And now, actually, it's continuous wars. Now it's like we have to be at war continuously because the evil bad guys, the evildoers, are going to come here and kill us. They don't tell you that whenever you're being recruited. They don't tell you that it's all propaganda, that it's all a lie, that it's all made up stuff just to buy more weapons, just to waste more money. Military people know how much fraud, waste, and abuse there is in the military. There's massive amounts. Generals are constantly going to the Pentagon, and the Pentagon's constantly going to the United States government, Congress, saying we need more money because we have to do all this other stuff to keep up with all these other countries. Nobody in the world spends as much money as we spend on the military. So when you're a 15 or 14 or 16-year-old kid and they're selling you all this stuff to join the military, you have to ask yourself the right questions. You have to ask yourself, are we going to war for reasons that actually make sense? Are we going to war because somebody in a damn suit with a stupid little decoration on their stupid shoulder told me I should go to war, and who that person reports to is actually weapon manufacturers? There's no reason in the world for most of the wars that we have. They're recruiting you because we need to keep the things in place to continue the wars. We always act like the movies, we act like during wars, there's all these people going there and killing people and being killed. Well, everybody that we send over there is instrumental in killing everybody else. But most of the people that are going over there are actually supply people, or people who are cooking the food. Because you got to keep the war machine going. You do. But you have to ask yourself, as somebody who's being recruited by the military, do you want to keep the war machine going? Does it make sense to you? Most of the people that we go to war with, and the military will lie to this day about it. They lie about everybody that we've ever killed. You know, if you talk about the Middle East, they'll act like we only killed like 11,000 people in the Middle East. We've killed at least 1 million people in Afghanistan. We've killed at least 1 million people. You know, whenever they act like we're the good guys, don't believe their lies. I'm not saying that most people in the military are bad guys, but I'll tell you, everybody that's in the military is being brainwashed. There isn't anybody in the military that's not being lied to. There isn't anybody in the military that hasn't bought in to the propaganda and isn't drinking the Kool-Aid because they have to, because it's constantly beat into them that they're the good guys and they're doing all this stuff because they're the good guys. But the people that we're killing, they're not the bad guys. You know, most of the people that are killing in wars are women and children and the elderly. It's not soldiers. The soldiers have a much better chance of surviving during wartime situations than the average citizen. So you have to, wonder, why are you going over there to kill somebody's mother? Why are you going over there to kill somebody's niece or nephew? Why are you going over there to provide a service that enables somebody else to kill somebody's grandparents? Why do you want to be a part of that? You deserve better. They come into your schools, they come in, it used to just be high schools, and it used to be that they would just come in like 1 or 2 days out of the year. They're there all the time anymore. And not only that, they're there in the colleges, they're there in the junior highs, they're there in the middle schools. They're constantly trying to get people to buy into the belief that military is absolutely the good guys. You want to be a part of it because we're going to give you all these benefits. We're going to give you skills. You're going to be able to do this certain kind of job once you leave the military. We're going to give you college education. We're going to give you all these different benefits if you help us continue the wars. But you have to ask yourself this. If we didn't have all these wars, if we didn't have such a ridiculously huge military, wouldn't everybody in this country be able to get the benefits that the people in the military have? Wouldn't we all have universal health care if the military didn't suck up all the money? Wouldn't we all be able to get education, college degrees, if the military didn't suck up all the money? Wouldn't we all have a higher standard of living if the military didn't suck up all the money? VA loans, people talk about, there's these benefits that people get whenever they serve that help them out in life. But the thing is, why isn't the average person getting these benefits anyway? Why are we putting all this damn money into the military? There isn't that much danger in the world. Whenever you talk to intelligent people in the military, they will act like everybody in the world is trying to kill us. And it's the same way with the CIA and the FBI. They think that everybody in the world is trying to kill us. Most people are just trying to live their damn lives. Most people aren't trying to kill us. The actual amount of the real threat there is out there is minimal compared to the amount of money that we spend on it. You have to think about risk aversion. You do. So if we're spending like $10,000 on something that the risk is only worth $1, why in the fuck are we spending $10,000 on something that if it even impacted us, it'd be $1? And that's what the military does. It plays this shell game with you. It's constantly moving things to make you believe what it wants you to believe, but it's not necessarily the truth. If you're somebody who's being recruited by the military, don't buy the lies. You can get to college another way. You can find a way to get the benefits in your life without the military. You can actually care about making the world a better place without joining the military. The military will tell you that where they go, it makes it better. There isn't one place in the world that the U.S. military has went to and made it better. Not one. Most places that have a military base, and we have the most, we have 1,000 military bases around the world. Most places have a military base, crime goes up, prostitution becomes commonplace when it didn't even really exist until the military base got there. You have all this toxic waste. You talk about Camp Lejeune, people are talking about that, how there was recently a Congress funding that said we're going to take care of all this toxic waste that happened at Camp Lejeune. Well, guess what? That poisoning that happened in the water is happening in every military base in the world. There isn't any military base that doesn't produce mass pollution. The biggest polluter in the world is the U.S. military. If you are somebody who's 14, 15, 16, thinking about joining the military, you need to ask yourself, what is the greater good for the world? Is what I've been told the truth? And can I do something that actually makes the world a better place? And maybe not necessarily believe what the military tells me. When I tell you that the military has a hand in almost every TV show that's being produced, they do. The Pentagon actually has a media department that actually consults on almost every TV show there is. Almost every movie that has any kind of military component to it, they get to be consultants to it. Why? Because they have all the equipment that they can loan to the production. So the production's really happy. They're saving millions of dollars from renting it. They have people using it that know how to use the equipment. But the military is controlling the story. They're telling you how they want it to be presented. There's one movie, Avatar, that the military didn't like because the military didn't get the way they wanted it to be spun. You know, the military was shown as people who were like manipulators, that were actually opportunists. The military didn't like that. The military wants to always be presented as the people who defend the good, the people who are the right ones, the people who are riding in on the white horses. They're the noble knights. But that's not what the military is. Whenever you talk to any country that has a military base, they hate us being there. They have to put on a nice smiley face because they need the money to survive, whether it's in their store or whether it's what they sell. They need the money, but they hate the fact that we're there. They hate the fact that it tears up, the lives of the people who live there. Like I said, there isn't one military base in the world that prostitution isn't a huge part of that community because of the military. Huge part of the community because of the military. There isn't one place in the world that doesn't have massive pollution, massive destruction because of the military. We have 1,000 bases. If you are somebody who's thinking about joining the military, ask yourself the bigger questions. You can do better. You can. You have to ask yourself the reasons you're thinking about joining the military, all these benefits that they're telling you, because I know what recruiters say. I know what they say. I've met hundreds of recruiters. I know what they tell you. They tell you, how you're going to have all these benefits and you're going to be rewarded by this and that and everything else. But you have to ask yourself, why are everyday citizens not given the same opportunity? Why do I have to sell my soul to the devil and buy into the war machine mentality to actually be able to afford a house, to be able to have health care, to be able to afford college? Why should I have to sell my soul to the devil, buy into the concept that war is good so I can have these things? And all these things are actually normal. And I'll tell you, every place in the world that's industrialized, that's not a third world country, has those things. The United States of America is the only country in the world that doesn't have universal health care. We are the only country in the world that doesn't pay full for their citizenry to go to actually college and universities. There's not one place in the world that pays the amount of money that we pay for houses. And it all happened. Why? Because the money that should be there to make it more affordable for all of us is going to the military. The military sucks up all the money in our budgets. Just like the police department suck up all the money in local budgets. You have to ask yourself, do you really want to be a part of this? When they lie to you, and they will lie to you because they have to meet quotas, don't buy it. Ask yourself bigger questions. Ask yourself, why does the United States of America need to have 1,000 bases? Why do we need to have 6,000 to 7,000 nuclear weapons? Why do we need to have all of these things for war when most of the people in the world just want peace? And I will tell you, whenever you meet people who are jarheads, and I'm not just talking about Marines, I'm talking about across the board. Because there's people who like red, white, and blue, kill, kill, kill. They buy into that shit. When you meet those people, you have to take them with a grain of salt. Ask yourself the questions you need to ask yourself. Why do I need to be a part of a war effort to get health care? Why do I need to be a part of a mentality that buys into wars at all costs, that kills children, the elderly, and mothers and parents, so I can afford to have a house? Why do I need to have those things? Because everybody should have those things. Every industrialized country in the world takes care of their citizens better than we do. And the reason we don't take care of our citizens the way we should is because we spend so much money on the military. You can do better. Do something else. Don't join the military.